First of all, if you read between the lines and look into Obama's upbringing, it's pretty clear that he was being groomed to be a politician from the time he was a child. So what? To start, from 5th grade all the way up through high school graduation, Obama went to a private school in Hawaii called the Puna House School. The Puna House School today has a tuition of around $30,000 per year. And if you look it up on Google, obviously they don't want you to look into this stuff, but it's not really clear what the tuition was back then when Obama was going, but let's just say it wasn't cheap. And apparently he had a scholarship to go there, but to me it's like, of course he did. And the reason why I distrust this is when you find out who Obama's stepfather was, it all kind of makes sense. Obama's stepfather was a man by the name of Lolo Sortoro. In 1970, Lolo Sortoro secured a position in government relations at Union Oil, which later became part of Chevron. And in hindsight, we know how important oil was at the time, considering that the petrodollar agreement was formalized 4 years later in 1974. And if you know anything about Eastern Asia, especially places like Indonesia where Lolo Sortoro was from, it's not expensive at all. And if you worked for an American oil company at that time, and even today, the money you would make would equate to you being very wealthy. And at the very least, if you're not very wealthy yourself, you undoubtedly have connections with individuals that are. But once you understand that Obama's stepfather was heavily involved with American oil companies' relations to the Indonesian government, and he also went to this prestigious, expensive private school in Hawaii, is it surprising to see that he then went on to Columbia University, Harvard, and then eventually got his way into politics? I think not even in the slightest. Now back to him being a plan. Once Obama reached the mainstream stage, he essentially served as a continuation of prominent black leaders that promoted Marxist political ideology. But like most political Marxists do, he hid his true intentions. And he sold us things like wealth distribution to eliminate inequality, healthcare for all, or in other words, socialized medicine. He was the first U.S. president to support same-sex marriage, which aligns with culturally Marxist ideology. And does nobody else find it strange that the very first black president supported same-sex marriage, but yet same-sex marriage has never, and still to this day, does not have broad support from within the black community? Ooh. And Obama campaigned on change, but if you ask me, one of the only things that he changed was the way people view homosexuality. And ever since his presidency, it's been a lot more accepted. Exactly. Now, I'm not here to argue if same-sex marriage is right or wrong. Y'all can have that discussion on the other side of TikTok. However, I do think that if the first black president was a plant, he would most likely support ideology that was contradictory to most black Americans' belief. That's exactly what Obama did with same-sex marriage. Not to mention, you would think that the very first black president would finally be the one to end racism discussions in America, considering that so many white Americans had to vote for a black person to be the president and therefore kind of have power over them. But yet, no, Obama, once he was the president, still was very racially divisive and pushed this idea of systemic racism. So, yes, Obama was a...
Just to show y'all proof that my brother isn't lying, look, he was an Indonesian geographer who married Obama's mom. Also, this is Obama's half-sister. This is Lolo Sotora, and this is young Obama. I was trying to tell y'all.
To all my black brothers and sisters, yes, of course.
All right, so I had made a video maybe 2 years ago when I was talking about this too. I was talking about Barack Obama being I don't know about a plant, but he was the Macaronian president. Now, if any of y'all ever seen the Macaronian president, y'all need to watch it. It's an old movie, but Denzel Washington redid it. The movie was redid with Denzel Washington being in it, and it's a very good movie. It's about a young man whose family had money, and they groomed him and trained him to become the president, and they put something in his brain to where he was taking orders from some people up top. So same thing as Barack Obama. Now, as this young man said in his video too, it's just funny that as black people, and I'm talking about for all the struggles that our civil rights leaders went through, the only profitable thing that Barack Obama did, and it wasn't just for black people, I mean, he did for America, was a same-sex marriage. And it's just funny that out of 8 years, 4 years, and then he got reelected. And we got reelected because we as black people, and I guess America, felt like he was a better choice than Hillary at the time, and I think Trump was running again too. And again, after he did his 4 years and got reelected for 4 more years, he still didn't do anything worth noting for black people. His continuation for same-sex marriage was just the ultimate goal for him. And I also told y'all in a video maybe a year ago that I did some reading on anti-Christism, like we're anti-God, like those that oppose God. And then I did some reading on Jesus, and I did some reading on the New Testament. Now, a lot of people would tell us, a lot of Christians would tell us, Christianity is what we need to be looking into, what we need to be following, and Christianity is believing in the following of Christ. But Christ, if you listen to Christ speak, Christ spoke, believe in my Father, follow my Father. Now, if you go back to the Old Testament, there are things that God, the Father, the Creator, said directly not to do. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The fact that Barack Obama whole agenda was the same-sex marriage thing, and the transsexual thing, and also too his whole format on giving kids the right to choose what sex they want to be. I just think that was just a whole slap in God's face. Cause for you to sit here and tell a child for you to sit here and tell a child, right, whose mind is hasn't even matured enough to understand nothing. This is the reason why kids have to this is why parents have to raise our children. So you telling a child 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. You're telling a child that it's okay for him as a male to put on a dress, put on high heels, put on makeup on his face. And you're telling this child that it's okay. You're telling this boy it's okay. It's okay for you to like this other boy. It's okay for you to like him like that. It's okay. It's okay for you to kiss him in his mouth. It's okay for you to touch his penis. It's okay. That's perversion. That is straight out perversion. It is perversion for you as a parent to institute into your family values to your son or daughter that is okay to sexually like the same sex. That is perversion. And for us to not see it like that, because at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, 16 years old, why are we even thinking about sex? Why are your kids even thinking about sex at that young age? That is some perverted shit. Let me tell you, this is what we should have saw when we was looking at this whole situation of the same sex thing. Gabrielle Union and that boy and that little boy. Why would this little boy at that age, with the basketball player's son, a daughter, I think he was a boy, the basketball player's son. Why at that such young? I think this kid was like 13, or was he young? I think he was like 10 years old when he decided that he wanted to be a female. What made him in his mind to want to sexually think that he could look at himself as a female? What made him in his brain think that? And it had to be something of a sexual nature to want him to feel like, I want to be a female. I want to know what it feels like to be a woman. Like, what are you talking about? And y'all see where I'm going with this? So this what to me was the start of how we as black people accepted and didn't pay no attention to what was going on. We didn't pay attention how deep that shit was with Gabrielle Union, that boy, that basketball player, and his son. And then we allowed as black people for that boy to transition, get his penis cut off. We allowed that as black people, and we said, hey, whatever make him happy. Our comments to that and our reply to that was, hey, whatever makes him happy. Hey, who we know, bro? What that did was, for black people that are supposed to be so close to God, that was a slap in God's face. He looked at us, and this is the reason why we as black people are so distant from God. Well, pardon me, this is the reason why God has distanced himself from black people. This is why we're going through what we're going through and going to continue to go through what we're going through because of this situation. Because God is not happy with us. The God, the creator, the Father, Elohim, Yahshua, he's not happy with us. He is not happy with us, man. The angels are crying because the angels want to help us, but God is telling them to back up because we have got so far from God. We have got away from God. So and Barack Obama was the reason why. He was the fact that God. I do believe that Barack Obama is the devil. I believe he is Satan. I believe Barack Obama is Satan. And I'm saying this to y'all again. I said it before in the other previous video, and I'm saying this to y'all again. Barack Obama is Satan.